our guest here is Hisham bin Ateya, and Hisham brought us a very interesting topic, something new actually, a decoupled CMS project. If you are not entirely clear or you haven't worked with decoupled CMS in Orchard Core before, that's when you have still a single ASP.NET Core application, but only the backend, only the admin area is driven by Orchard Core. The front end, so what the people visit, is, well, still part of the same application. It's not driven directly by Orchard Core and its themes, but perhaps by a Razor Pages app or a vanilla MVC app. But Hisham will explain everything for us here today, and also a little bit of context of what we are looking at. So Hisham, please.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, depend on where you are. Today, I will talk about the Decoupled CMS for a particular project that I worked on, I think 1 year ago. So let's start it. First of all, I will take you a quick tour for this website. I know many of you might not understand Arabic, so I could translate the page. Okay.
Yeah, my Arabic is a little bit rusty as well.
Okay, so this is the Quality Training Academy. It provides courses for health or medical sections. This is the home page when you see the most important thing, like the mission, the vision of the entity, the certified by section, and the most requested courses. Also, their services and the customer sections, some statistics about the courses and the coaches and the trainees. And what else? The partner section. This is mainly in the homepage. This page for the courses will display all the available courses. You can filter them by name or by the category, the availability and the location. What else? There's also a media center. There are 4 things I can show you here. There is a, sorry, I think I should translate it again, a news page that displays the news for the center, and you can click a particular news and show the details like a normal websites. Also, there's like a blog. There's a lot of blog posts for a particular topics. And for the media, there's a galleries, there's a photo gallery and video gallery. Just excuse, I think the bar for the teams bother me a little bit. Okay, this is the like an albums. There are a lot of albums, and you can click one of the album and switch between the images back and forth. So I think with that, we can take 1 or 2 or 3 pages, and we will do some coding using a decoupled CMS. So as Sultan mentions, the decoupled CMS, the decoupled CMS is one of the architecture for many of the CMS, because Orchard Core provide 3 architectures: coupled and decoupled and the headless CMS. For today, we will focus on the decoupled CMS, where the backend and the frontend are separated, and only the data or the backend is driven by Orchard Core. So it is your responsibility as a developer to write the pages and display the content with the front end that you like. So you can implement it using Razor Pages or ASP.NET MVC or Blazor, which we'll not cover today. So for this demo, I might cover Razor Pages, and we will see if we can dig into the ASP.NET MVC. So why decouple is important? The decoupled CMS is important because it gives you a flexibility and control over the markup. So you can do whatever you want in the markup, because if the content is rendered by the CMS, some CMS render the content based on some controller, like if we go to the orchard, there is a content here, content module, and I think there is a controller called item controller, and there's a method called display. So all the contents will be displayed using this method by default. But for us, we will control everything ourselves, and we will take a look right now. So let us start with something simple, like for example.
Hisham, what's the approach that you have taken here? Is it an ASP.NET Core app, or what's the front end?
Yep. Yes, exactly. And thank you for this. Okay, for this project, I use ASP.NET Core with Razor Pages in the many parts, but there are view modules. I used ASP.NET MVC, and we will tell why for that. Okay, so the Razor Base is what we will focus for now. So we will render all the content using the Razor Pages. And I remember Irmer or Zeg in the first session, he uses Liquid, because Liquid is one option also to render the content in the front end. So let us dig in. For now, let us make it simple. For these surfaces, we will display the surfaces from the backend using Decoupled CMS. So for that, what we usually did is we go to the content, to the admin side, and go to the content definition, and we will create a new content type. I think Irmer also show us how to create a content types from the admin. So for me, let me try something else using migration, okay? Because the content definition from the UI is just one approach, and there is another two approaches, like a migration and import and export recipes. So let us have a quick look. I will go to the core project. I created a migrations folder, then created a surface migration. So I need to inherit from the data migration. Then public and create our first migration. So,
and what are you creating the content type for? So what's the idea?
Yes, the idea here is to create a first content type that represent the surfaces. So we will create a surface content type, but we will not do it from the admin panel. We will do it using migration. So we inherit from the data migration, then in the create method, which is called by convention, let us create, sorry. Okay. Content part. So for creating content part or content types from within the data migration, sure, we need an instance of iContent definition manager. So with that, let me inject the surface iContent definition manager, content definition manager. Then content definition manager equals content definition. So we will ask a DI to inject an instance of iContent definition manager. Then in the create, we will start create the surface part. Here in this example, we have two things. We have a surface content type and a surface part. So using alter part definition, we will create a surface part. We will make it attachable to any content type with the display name surface. And we will add a fields. Here we will add a media field called a picture with some settings. It is required and it is not multiple, so just only one page, one media or one photo for this picture, because the multiple is true by default. Then,
and let me interject a little bit here because you are doing some magic with the video snippets.
Okay.
Furthermore, where did you get those snippets? Did you write them yourself? Are you just keeping
yes,
couple of snippets?
Yes, I wrote it myself. But for anyone who don't work with migration, you can have a look to the Orchard code. Let us look for data migration. If you take any data migration, migration, I think. Migration. There are many migration in our system. For example, here for the user is straightforward because in the migration you can do many things. You can create an index tables, and also you can create a content types. If we choose another one, I'm sure there is, for example, I'm not sure if there, like this one, where, like this one. Okay, you can make your use of the content definition manager and create a part using the underlying API, because this is the same thing that we did from the admin, but from the UI, and behind the scenes, the UI will call the alter part definition and alter type definition to create the content parts and types in your behalf. So for me, just to save time and not write every single code, I will try to use some snippet in some cases and write some code in few places. So after we created the part, we will create the actual type, which is the surface. And there are a lot of options here from the API, and the same thing in the UI. We can set the content type creatable from the admin and listable. Also, in this type, I need to have a title for the surface. So I use the method with part, and I create a title part. I give it a position, so it will show up at the first field with the display name, and we can set a setting for any parts or field. It depends on your needs. Also, I need a sort of description for the surface or a content for the surface. So in this case, I need an HTML content. Luckily, in Orchard Core, we have an HTML body part. So same like the title part, we will use with part and create a part for our new content type, HTML body part with display name and the position, and we can configure the editor. So in this case, we will use what you see is what you get editor. And last, we will use the part, which is the part that contain the field. I think for more details, yeah, anyone can read the docs in details or see the Dojo course by Lombiq, because they dig in details for creating a content management, content types and part. So what you see here is maybe something different. These are pre-built parts, but this one, in case that you have a type with certain fields, so you can create a part with the same name of your type. So in our case, I create a picture or a media field. So I put it in the part called surface part. And after I create the other parts like a title part, HTML body part, or markdown body part, I also added the surface part, which actually will add the picture field into our content type. So with that, the content type is ready. So the last thing we need to do is return.
What's the particular reason why you added the fields to that auto part, that like that special part, as opposed to creating actually a content part for the service content type that's maybe also reusable?
So sorry.
So you named your part service, right?
Yes.
Like the content type. Yeah, and as you explained, the reason for that is because that's like that special part that will contain the fields when you open the content type editor and you have the field system. Yeah. Did you do this because you want to perhaps manage those fields from the admin? Or why didn't you create a part that's differently named?
If anyone go to the admin for the Orchard core and create a type and create a certain field, the Orchard core automatically will create a content part on your behalf that encapsulate all the content field that you created.
Yeah, but why didn't you use a differently named part, like service part or service fields part or whatever? Is it reusable?
Yeah, got it. You mean creating that part to make it reusable by other content type?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think it depends. If you have a multiple content type and you are in a situation where there are a common content field that are common across the content types, you could make this content part attachable into those content types. But for this particular case, I just create a surface with just this metadata for only this content type.
Okay, I see.
Okay, and if you have any extra info, and you are welcome.
No, I just wanted to clarify that. And secondly, why are you using altered part definition and altered content type or type definition below, as opposed to altered part definition async?
Yes, one of the things that you might not realize, I think this project is written 1 year ago, so I need to
Okay.
upgrade it to use because there are many API changed since then. I can, like what you said, you can use the async version, which we have it in the latest bit.
Okay. So what's your core version of this?
I think 1.6 is too old.
Okay.
I will try to upgrade it. And this is good to upgrade, and we will see. Okay. After that, we will return a one, like any migration system. You move from one step to another step. So this is the first migration. And if we run this migration, it will create an entry into the database. So just a quick look. If we go to the document very quickly, there is a data migration.record.data migration records. And if we open this, sorry, the values in the editor, you will notice all the migration will be there. So when you run the app, the Orchard core will scan the data migrations and will run them all, and it will keep track for the version for each. So I think if we look here, we will find the surface, yes, because I already ran it before. It is here, it is in the version 2. So for that, now if this is a new app and run the app, of course, the Orchard will execute this code and will create a content type called surface for us. So now you have a choice. Either you create your parts and your types from within the Orchard code admin or from within the code. Now, let's go to the layout here. We will go to the layout and we will display the surfaces instead of static one. Where is the layout here? This is the portion of the markup where we render the surfaces. It is just a static list. Now we will make it dynamic. So how we can do that? One of the good things in the Orchard core, especially for Razor views, there are an Orchard helpers. So if we look to the source again of the Orchard core, there's Orchard helper, I think. Yep, exactly. This is a simple interface, and almost or many module extend that helpers to provide a functionality for the Razor. So I will use one of them, the content helpers, because there are a set of Orchard core helpers that help you to dealing with the content from within the Razor pages. So here, I will go to the above, to the code. Let's go here. And if we write, sorry. Oh, let me zoom in. You will notice if you start writing Orchard, by default, Orchard code will inject the Orchard instance of the iOrchard helper. Then you can call or invoke various methods from different modules. So for me, I need to deal with the content type. So let us start. So Orchard dot sorry. Yes, there are many methods for here, like get content item by handle or by ID. and content item by IDs. So I think no one is suited in our case because we need to display a list of content. Luckily, I think there is a query content item async version. So var surfaces equal query content items async. Then we need to pass in the query that we need to be executed. Let me call it I. So if you notice, the parameter will be the I queryable of content item and I content item index. So for me, let us like a where clause from all the contents. We will restrict the content based on content types. So where content type name surface, not surfaces, and this should be the exact name for the content type that we created. So after that,
wouldn't it be better to create a constant for that, by the way?
What?
Wouldn't it be better to create a constant for that, by the way?
Yes, exactly. And we did that in the Orchard code base. We can create a constant for such types. So to avoid any magic strings or typo issues, we can do it. After that, we will call, I think there's a method called, let me check. Did I, oh, sorry, because it is awaitable. I need to call await. Then look, okay, no need, just no need, because it's awaitable. The query content item async, it will return the task of enumerable content type. Just by calling this method, it will restrict all the contents based on the content type. Also, we could create another condition. So we could only return the published version because in the content surface, if we list items, perhaps view of those are not published. So the intent here is to display only the published surfaces. So we could use I.published. So now we are make sure that we retrieve all the surface content items and only the published ones. So now we have a list.
One thing here, actually two things. Not really, just one. So can you quickly show the project where we are in currently?
This one.
Yeah. So
if you mean the layout in the team, there is.
So the project. Yeah. Okay. So we are in the site theme project now.
Yes, because the layout resides there.
Yeah. So this is, but this is not a theme in the Orchard course sense, right? Or okay, so this is actually a theme.
Yes.
Then I'm confused about how this is a decoupled site.
What? Sorry?
I'm a bit confused on how this is a decoupled site.
You mean regarding the theme?
Yeah, so you have a theme, but decoupled is about not having a theme. So how does this work?
Okay. Regarding the decoupled, the backend and the front end are separated. So for this particular project, as you mentioned, we can create a separate front end or a theme in the host application. But for me at the beginning, of writing this project, I created the Orchacore theme and use it in the host project, the web project. But you are totally right. We can write the theme isolated from the Orchard core.
I'm not sure I'm following. So how will the front end of this application work? So can you show the program file of that web project?
Oh, okay. This is the program.
Okay. Could you scroll down a little bit? Do you have the add orchard core or use orchard core? Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't understand how this is decoupled.
Look here. As I mentioned, regarding this team project, I just wrote it at the early stages when I wrote the project. After that, I changed my mind. Okay. After this step, as you said, while we are on the decouple, we can isolate the front end from the Orchard core backend. So our responsibility is to render the content in the website. So the Orchard core will not involve here. So the front end and the front end will will communicate with the Orchard core data sources via APIs to consume the data that will be displayed.
I'm not sure I'm following, but anyway, please continue and we'll see.
Okay. So here, now go here. So after that, now we have the surfaces here in this object. Now we will go to the section where the surfaces are, which are here. So this list. So for now, I will drop these. Let me create a for each surface and surfaces. Okay, and we will move this here. So now this should work now. It will bring the data from the Orchard core. So I will change the title. So now I iterate through all the surfaces from the orchard. Let us call surface dot display text, because by default the display text will use the title bar to title. Let us build the project and check. Okay, Now, if we go here, run the app, go to the surface, there are 4, but they come from here. Now, if we clone one of them and publish it and refresh the page, so we should see 5 surfaces. So it works. So the data comes from the Orchard core backend. This is just a simple thing that we use a simple helper for fetch the content items using the iQuery, and you can specify your conditions here. Cool. Any question?
I would have one. A little bit
Okay.
below, you had an authentication check.
Yep.
So do you also offer some services?
Yes.
To
Yep.
login users?
Yep. Yep. Good question. Because here there is an ability to register or log in, because there are many courses. If you log it in now, here there is like a register button. This is a register button. So if someone interested in one of the courses, because some of the courses are online and some are you need to attend yourself, and if you notice here, there is a price for each course. So there's a payment in this application. So of course, there are many things that show up if you are an authenticated user. So now the same thing here. There is a surfaces block here, but this time the title with the picture. That is good to see how we can display the images or the pictures using the Orchard helpers. Again, same thing. We can go to we can copy the same code here and go to the home page. This is the home page. Yes, it is the home page. Go to the home page. Go down below. We will display. We will execute the same query content items, and we will go the same section. But this time I will copy this one, and for each surface, and let's call it latest surface. This one, just to make sure that everything's fine, we should see 5 blocks. Now, according to the design for the website, this should shows the last or the latest 4 surfaces. But now, because we have more than 4 surfaces, we see the 5th surface here, which is not intended here. Luckily, in Orchard, we have another helper, a good helper called, where is it? Yes, this one. This one, I think, yes, this one. This is one of the coolest helper that you can get the recent content items by content type. which is neat and it will fit in our case here. So simply, I will call orchard dot get recent content items by content type, and we need to specify the content types. And also there is an optional parameter, the maximum content item that you want to retrieve. By default it is 10, so for our case let us set it to 4. If we build again, we should see the latest. Cool, we shows the latest for surfaces. Now I think the last step is the time is to set the title, like the normal one, surfaces.display text. Of course, now when we change this piece, we will see different titles. Yes, there are different titles here. Last step is to change the image for the surface. Again, the Orchard core has another helper that comes from the media module. Orchard dot asset URL. So you need to specify the media field, and the Orchard core will retrieve the asset URL. So while we are in the surface content item, so let us call surface dot content. And if we go back to our content type surface, we will see there is a media field in the default part, which is the surface part. So now we need to call surface dot picture. It is picture? Yes, it is picture. After that, I think because this object is dynamic, we could, because some of us may wonder how we can access those properties. There's another cool helper. I remember also Irmer in the first stream showed it using Liquid. It is a console log. So you can console log the object and you will see all the metadata and the data for a particular object. So for now, I think it is a path.
Yeah, although Ermir used it because he was working on Liquid, and
Yes.
there's no real debugger for Liquid. Why are you using it here instead of just attaching the debugger? Or why did you? Sorry, you are not really using it, but why did you start to use it? Or was it just an example?
Yep, because let me use it for instance to show everyone how console log surface. As you said, because we are on a Visual Studio, we can debug this view and look into the surface details. And there's another options. If we go to the F12 tools console, you will notice here it will log each object, each surface. So now without debugging also, it could works. You will see the content contains the HTML body part, and there's a title part, and the surface contain a picture which contain the paths. And this is what we need to access like content.surface.picture.paths0 because we have only one media. So for that, path0, and because this is a dynamic object, we need to cast it to string because SS URL accept a string. And now, hopefully, if all goes well, we should see different pictures. If you notice, there is a different pictures. Cool. So what we did here, we use view helpers, one helpers that allow us to query a list or set of data. And also there is another orchard helper that allow you to get the recent content, because sometimes it's useful to return like a top 10 or top 5 from the content items. And the last one is the content, the assets URL, which is from the media, which is quite neat when you want to display an image from actual content here. So I think this is just something basic. Now let us click one of those surfaces because each surface has some details. For example, I think if we go here, there is a detail page. Sorry, this one. Let me check. No, not this one. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Surfaces details, I think. Surface or surfaces. I will need to make sure if it is surface or surfaces because.
By the way, why didn't you localize the URLs?
Localize?
Why didn't you localize the URLs?
Good question. We can do that, but I remember for that project, there was no need to localize the URLs. They are fine. Go with the English, and even if you notice in the admin, because there are some terms in English. So at the first stage of the project, the client told me it is fine to go with the English. And for me, we could localize the URLs in case if I have multiple culture, but it is optional, I think. So for that, I think it is not compulsory to localize the URLs. And one thing you might notice here, like in the Middle East, on almost the Arabic site does almost not localize URLs unless the client requests for that. But we could do this.
So it wasn't needed, is the short answer then.
Okay. Now let us dig into the details page. So yes, this is the problem here. There is a parameter and that I don't pass it, like a slug or something. This is a static page. Let's do it very quick because we are hit on time. Okay, and now let me check here. This is the details page. We could go to the surface here, SP page /surfaces/details, SP route ID, we need to pass the content item ID for the surface to be passed in. After that, we will display the surface details. So we could use surface dot. There's a content item ID here. Now it's cool. We pass the content item ID here, and we add the ID in the route. Okay. Now we could
and sorry, before you go any further in the action in that CS file you previously shown, could you please go back?
Okay, sure.
I think yeah. So where do you have the or not action anchor? Where do you have the anchor, the link?
Yeah,
you just showed it a second. Yes, this one. So why do you oh, okay, nothing. I was just wondering why do you need both the route ID and the page?
Yep, because we passed the ID just to distinguish which page will be displayed into the details page. And this is the URL for the details page.
Yeah.
So, okay, now we create a normal. If someone familiar with Razor page, we can use from route, name equal ID. Then let's do it. Vector. What else? Private read only content. I think manager. We need a content manager here. Content manager. So in the onGet, so when the request comes in on this page, we need to tell the content manager, please git async the content with the ID in the route. So let us return this in surface content item. And here we can go with async version, async task. And this is awaitable. Cool. Now we have two choices. Either we save the entire content item into a property, like this one, content item surface, or create a view properties for each field that we want to display, like a title, a body part, and so forth. So now very quick, we could go again here, and for instance, this one simply will call model dot surface. Okay, now dot display text. We will display the title for the surface. Build it succeeded. Now let us again. Where is it? Here. I think it is here. Yep. Now, if we go to here, if we notice, okay, which title? Now we should make sure that we get the right title here. Yes, this is the title because this is static one. Now we notice when we click one of those, this title, it's changed. So now it is time to change this one too. Again, very quick, we need to copy and paste this one. Build it. Okay, now I think both titles should be equivalent. Cool. And for the last, I think we have 2 minutes remaining. We could.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. Very quick. Div model dot content. Sorry, the surface dot content. I think the content is in HTML body part. HTML body part. Sorry, there is a property called HTML. One interesting point here, because if we display this, it will show the tags, the HTML tags. So there's a good helper here. I think, yes, we need to use the raw HTML raw helper, so it will render the HTML content from the admin properly. And the last thing, I think I need to copy it very quick. We need to use the assets again. Okay, this one. For the image, yes, this one. Again, we need to go to the model, to the retrieved content item, go to the content, the surface, and then picture 0. Now, if all goes well, the content should be changed and the picture should be changed and everything goes fine. And the same for this. If we change it, everything looks as expected.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. Is this a code? This is a customer project, so obviously you won't just upload it to GitHub for everyone to see. But are there at least snippets that you can share? Maybe write a blog post about it or something.
Okay, I can share 3 samples, but maybe within in the upcoming 2 days, I can publish one theme, maybe in a public repo in the article contrib, like a theme with decoupled, and someone else can use the same theme using the couple or headless, and this will be useful for the community, I think. But maybe it is not exact the same project. We can make something simple that explore different parts, like using the orchard helper, media helpers and content helpers, perhaps a list part helpers, because there are many orchard core helper. But offshore, I will post something in the upcoming few days.
Great, thank you. So I think then probably this is a good checkpoint.
Okay.
And yeah, some public sample will be great, because there aren't many examples and many tutorials for the decoupled CMS approach.
Cool.
All right, so thank you very much, Hisham. So today, and thank you everyone for joining, of course. So today we have seen a little bit of front-end development in the decoupled approach. A lot of usage of the iOrchard helper interface, which is kind of an important thing if you are doing decoupled. Probably the most important thing, actually. So this was it for today, but we aren't quite finished, right, Hisham? Because we thought about continuing this a little bit.
Yes. Maybe we can explore different parts in this project, and if there is any feedback or requested things from the community, okay, we can continue next week and explore another view places.
Yes, so the idea would be that we continue from not necessarily here, but at least in this project next week as well.
Yep.
So please, in the chat or on Discord, the Orchid Core discussion board or wherever, let us know what you would like to see next, if you are interested in particular in something. And otherwise, we'll continue somehow to be announced next week.
Okay.
All right, that was it for today. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.